Hey, Mr. Flynn, how you doing, buddy? Mr. Flynn. That's a good boy, Mr. Flynn. That's a good boy. That's a good boy, Mr. Flynn. Yes, a good boy. Hi there, this is Michael with Sail of Glory Farms, and my wife will be joining me here shortly. We would like to give you an overview of what we have going on here at our farm. We've been living here in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia, this particular part of Virginia, for the better part of 6 years. Bought a fixer-upper property farm. It needed a lot of work, but we've done a lot of work to it. So I wanted to show you a little bit of what we have going on. Some things of what we want to do in the future, and yeah, I hope that y'all can give us some ideas, and hopefully we can inspire you to live this beautiful life. Here I have an orchard that we've started actually with 4 pear trees. You can see these trees are here in the front. A couple of them are Bartlett, and I'm trying to remember the other kind, but they cross-pollinate one another, and they've been producing a good bit of fruit. And this past year we put in apple trees here, a couple different varieties, and then we have a cherry tree right here that, believe it or not, on its first year produced a good bit of fruit, and you can see it's already starting to bud. And then we have some peach trees that are doing really well. Believe it or not, we planted these last year as well, and they're doing really, really well. Now, the other thing we decided to add last year, this is actually another apple tree that we started from just a stem. But another thing that we added last year was what we called nitrogen fixer trees. And here in Virginia, a nitrogen fixing tree that we found is red buds. We have red buds all over Virginia, and these red buds, they say to plant them every 3 or 4 trees, so I kind of put them at the end of the rows, and then I have some down over that direction past my cherry trees and my pear trees. But I have some more red buds back there, and they're supposed to grow and help fix the nitrogen deficiency that sometimes is in fruit trees. And I know some people may say, hey, your trees are not spaced far enough apart, or so on and so forth. My idea is this: eventually this area is going to be really lush, lots of shade cover, and I can always prune things back if I need to. And I put these trees in neat rows because I'm a little bit of I guess I'm a little particular at times. But as you can see here, it really adds beauty to our landscape. We're going to have a lot of good fruit even this season. We actually plan on planting at least 2 more cherry trees and probably a few plum trees to add. And then I'm going to try to plant a couple trees, 2 or 3 trees every year, and basically keep going this direction right here because we have plenty of room. And as you can see, we've got some beautiful views of the mountains, and just the beauty around here is just amazing. And right here we have our potato beds. Actually, last year we actually grew corn in this area, and it did really well. And we tried to alternate areas where we grow things each year, make sure we're not growing the same thing every year, and unless we don't have room. But this year we have room, so we're going to be having potatoes coming up here. And if you could see this fence right up here that comes from the barn, goes all the way over here, and comes down. This fence here, I actually put this fence in last summer. This was my summer workout project, and this kept me in shape. I did 46 or 50 posts just in this area by hand, and hot days, sweating like a pig, and getting rocks out of the ground, and it was a good bit of work, but it kept me in shape, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. As you can see, this fence goes all the way back that way. This right here is a mess over here. I'll explain about that in later. But this became an area where we could put our pigs, we can put our goats, we can put our cows if we need to. And I'm actually fixing a fence over on the other side right now, so I'll explain that in a second. So this area here, we actually put our pigs in. We added it on to our garden area, which goes down over this way. It's one of our gardens. We had 5 feeder pigs we raised last summer into about December when we processed them. We had them in this area. Anytime we had scraps from over here, we would throw them in here. Did a really simple nipple on this water barrel for water, which we could just access the water from right over here. And we had a little sand, I guess a little sandbox that we put water in for them. And then we added some material. After they were gone, we're building the soil back up. And but this was actually just a perfect area to have pigs in. They never got out unless my kids let them out, which that's another story. But it worked quite well. And here is another fence that we replaced. I believe it was last year. It might have been the year before. But it turned out really well. To be honest, this was the first fence that I had stretched in my life. All these posts I did by hand again. These H braces, I just watched YouTube videos and figured out how to do it myself. The only mistake that I made is that I didn't put the fence here on the other side of the posts. I put them on the wrong side. If you're having animals on the other side, the fence should be on the other side of the post. So that was my bad. So it was just for this section. Thankfully, it's still tight and still needs to be where it is. And here, this is actually in much better shape than that other fence used to be in. It was way worse than this, and we had goats constantly getting out, and it was really frustrating. So this fence here will more than likely be done with wire. Will be done probably the rest of the summer. And here is actually a fence. I did it with smaller posts. I thought I could get away with it, but again, this fence going all the way down there. I did that all by hand, and it turned out really well. Only problem is I have a cow that's likes to rub herself on these posts. But eventually it'll all look like the rest of the fence there, and I'll have a nice straight fence from here to the end where the gate is. Quick view of our house. We have put new windows in this house. We have put a new roof on. We have redone a good bit of landscaping. There's still something to do. And I'll show you here on the back side a major project we did when we put a roof on is we actually added solar panels. I have 16 here on this roof and then another 8 over on that roof. Tied into my inverter over here. I don't know if I would recommend solar. So the company that took over the other company went bankrupt, and our inverter went bad, and we waited from September till a couple weeks ago for it to be replaced. So we had several months of paying for solar panels with nothing to show for it. It is working now. It's working pretty good, but I am uncertain whether or not the cost is worth what you get in return. I will probably have to look at that here probably maybe 5 years down the road and give you an update about whether or not it's worth it, the cost. We're not completely off grid with the solar. We do not have a battery bank. We tie into our electric here, and right now it's cutting our electricity in half. Here we have a nice campfire area with a couple tables, and to be honest, this area gets used several times a week by not only us but other people that come and hang out. Friends, we have a couple church groups that meet here, and it's just a peaceful area. As you can see, somebody loves her cow.
Yep, this is Daffodil, and we got Daffodil in, let's see, she was born in February, so she's a little over a year old. I'm trying to think when we got her, several months ago, and she is an A2 Jersey cow, and she's not bred yet. We're going to breed her in the fall. We're looking forward to milk with her. I love to make soap, and I have goats for that, and I love my goats, but goat's milk is naturally homogenized, so it's more difficult to, like the cream is throughout the milk instead of rising to the top. So unless you have a cream separator, it's kind of difficult to make things like butter. And Jerseys are known for their high butterfat content. And I'm very new to cows, but I'm really in love with her. And so we're gonna start that journey and see, I'm gonna see how different it is from raising goats. And so far, I like the fact that Jerseys, we're pasture raising, so she's having only pasture or pasture products, so chaff hay and hay in the winter and things like that. We're not grain feeding her at all. And I'm looking forward to seeing how different it is to not only milk her but also to keep her and keep her in good nutrition, because I feel like goats, as much as I love them, they do require grain and they do require quite a bit of supplementation, at least on our property. And she, of course, is going to require some supplementation and loose minerals and things like that, and kelp and things of that nature. But I'm hoping that she's a little bit easier to keep. And you can see that she has a wonderful personality.
So you can hear in the background, we've got some noisy geese, and they are causing problems.
Oh my gosh, look.
No. There they are.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's because they have...
It's because of this over here. Y'all need to hush up. It's because of in here. And here we have goslings that are getting ready to be born anytime, more likely.
Hopefully she's sitting on enough.
She's sitting on them. They are trying to do their best to protect, and they...
Good job. You're doing a good job.
And while we're over here... Alright, Mr. Rooster. This is a mess. This is what we did, what we could. We had a dog kennel, and so we made a run, adding in some fencing and T-posts and all kinds of hodgepodge stuff to make it work. Eventually, when I have time, I'm going to make this better. But this is our chicken area, and I'll just show you inside real quick. Come on in, say hello to all the chickens. We've got a few roosters we need to take care of as well. But it's dirty, keep in mind. But this is the gist of what we have. Nesting boxes, and just an old building we converted. And they like to roost up there. And this was just an old shed that we converted into a coop. Just framed it out real simple, put in a screen door, added chicken wire, and eventually we're gonna have a gutter up there going down to a water system. But this is it. It's pretty simple watering system. And whatever.
Okay, so Mike took this building down a few days ago, and the reason we did this is because I really feel like I need a greenhouse to be able to start seeds in and even overwinter some plants. So we're going to repurpose all of this wood, and we also had stored windows because when we moved into our current home, we needed to update the windows, and so we just took those and put them out in this building, and they've just been waiting to be used. So, you know, we've got things in piles here. There's a lot of, unfortunately, we've got some broken glass. The kitty. Unfortunately, we've got some broken glass and things like that, and hardware. We really need to have this area cleaned up well. We want to prevent things like hardware disease and things like that. So we need to be very careful and really vigilant. But if we can clean this area up, I would love to plant corn here. That would be a future project, or a project maybe for a few weeks from now. I'm not sure. But we're going to move all of this, and we are going to work on the greenhouse. That's going to take a lot of time. And we need to finish this fence here. This is the home of our female coonies that we had to temporarily move in with the males as we did the tear down, the demolition.
So this is what we call our big barn, or our main barn. We did some updates to it. We added some windows. It's a pretty good size. We added this door that we did ourselves. And we have a solar light that comes on, motion sensor. It's kind of nice to have. Inside, it's dirty. Where we have all our chicken processing equipment that we bought from a neighbor when we do meat chickens. And we have a stall that we can use for different animals, a little walkway to get through, and freezers in which we put our feed, bags of feed in these freezers, and then we also put them in these storage bins here. And we have Pepper, who's come out to greet us. This area of the barn I'm kind of proud of. We took a barn stall and we converted it into a chicken brooder. It's nothing pretty to look at, just used some old fence boards and reinforced it, framed it out, and we put in an old screen door, aluminum screen door, and inside we just have like a fence base all around. Again, it's really dirty in here, and chicken wire on the sides. It's actually that plastic chicken wire. It was easier to use, easier material to use at the time. Heat lamp, and we have the option for another heat lamp if needed, and just food, water, pine shavings, and we just keep adding to it as it gets dirty. It's worked great. We've raised thousands of chickens in here at this point. Chickens, ducks, and all kinds of different things. So this is our second barn that we use, and I'm going to go inside and let Emily explain to you a little bit of what we have going on. And you may have another cow sighting. Pigs and goats here. So we go in. There we go, pigs. Pigs, laying down. Oh my gosh. All right.
Yeah, these are the coonies. We have our two males in here generally all the time. He's snoring.
Yeah.
He's snoring. But we have our females in here temporarily. Our females are already bred actually, and we're hopefully gonna have a litter in June of piglets. But because we took the building down over there for the greenhouse, the future greenhouse, to use those materials, we had to move the females in here because we had to actually take down part of the fencing.
So real quick, this is one of our movable chicken tractors that we use every year for meat chickens. We have a bell style waterer that goes in it, and then it just connects to this bucket here with this end on it. I can grab it here. This pretty simple setup. We've got another one. It's a little bit more low profile, and it's actually a lot lighter to move. Same bell water bucket. And usually between the two of those we can raise close to 100 chickens. And here we have the fence line. I'll show you guys kind of the property boundary going up this way, but all this fence here has been restretched, redone, cut back all the trees, repaired some of the fence here. You can see cut down a huge tree. These were huge trees. This is what actually caused the fence to go down in the first place. But I have this entire fence line that I redid, and it stretches a good ways. This is just one of our pastures here. See a burn pile, and it goes back that way. Eventually we're going to have a fence right around where the stumps are. We're going to have a fence that stretches across so that we can actually section this off and use this as a whole other area for animals. And we have these big huge black walnut trees, and our neighbor's land right next door, they raise cattle as well. So there's lots of nice pasture around here, and it's early spring, so the grass is just barely starting to come in. you.